Hey guys, Tomo here, another Rebel Short. Today we've got Christina Livaditakis from Australia. She's out in Africa to compete at the REBEL Renegade Games again, which is really exciting to have her on the roster. That was like really cool when we got your registration through. I was like really excited about that. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always awesome to come back to Africa. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
back to the roots.
Back to your roots, yes. Tell us a little bit about your roots and your story. I think it's cool for people to find out. I know we've got the regions quite mixed, and I think it's quite a bit more mixed this year because we've opened it up to UAE and Gulf, and we've also opened it up to residents from those countries.
Which is awesome.
Which is cool. So Sarah and Lucas, Lucas lives at Val de Vie in Cape Town, which is it's mad, top international athlete that has situated himself in Cape Town, but it gives us an opportunity to expose our community to those athletes and really sort of raise the level. But I think it's always good for people to know your story, where you're from, where it started, and why you get to come back here and compete every year.
Yeah. Well, I guess it started back home in Zimbabwe. Why did I start CrossFit? I don't even know. I think I wanted abs.
Fair enough.
Just started doing it, fell in love with it, like everyone does, CrossFit's just awesome. I started coaching at a gym it was called Full Speed CrossFit at the time.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe, started coaching there a little bit, helping out there, and it's now my gym in Zimbabwe. It's what it's called now. I think it's still under Rolf Valley CrossFit. But that's my roots, that's my home. My heart's always there. And then decided to make the move to Australia in 2018, I think it was. I think I was 21. And then I've obviously lost my Zimbabwe accent and my African accent, which I'm so sad about. But when you move on your own to a country and you're on your own for the last 7 years, really are surrounded by just Australians, you pick up their accent. So it is what it is. I can still put on the accent if I want to now and again when I need to bribe the police in Zimbabwe. Anyway, no. As soon as I started training in Australia, obviously the level there is so much, it just takes you to the next level of training. You see how, top end athletes train, and just that exposure and everything there is just, got me to where I am today. I've trained at a few gyms in Australia now, or worked in Australia as well at a few gyms. Currently at CrossFit CrossAct in Brisbane, Australia, which is definitely got a special place in my heart now. I actually manage the gym. So a lot of work, not so much play in terms of work. Which is pretty hard as an athlete to be working full time and training as well. That's an awesome community, CrossFit CrossAct. So
Very cool.
Kind of short story. Yeah.
And I mean, that's just ending on that's quite an interesting thing. We often, I think particularly in Africa, it's really hard to be a full-time athlete. Is that the same sort of story in Oz? How many full-time athletes do you have? You've got a huge amount of really good athletes coming out of that region.
Yes.
So how does it kind of work there? Is it similar to here?
I think CrossFit in general, it's hard to be a full-time athlete. There's not much money in CrossFit compared to other sports like soccer or, you know what I mean? CrossFit is tiny. So just to be a full-time athlete as it would be, there's only the top 0.0001% that are. In Oz is still a small region compared to America, Europe. So there's not many athletes that are full-time athletes there. I'd say, top 3 or 4 maybe that are actually full-time athletes. I'm pretty sure most have jobs, whether it's part-time or full-time working, they're all working, So it's not, I think it does maybe seem like there's a lot more full-time athletes there, but there's not, But, the money in the sport, I guess, is more in America. I'd say if you wanted to be a full-time athlete, the opportunity is more there.
Yeah.
But 100%, I'd say Australia's got more opportunity than, say, like South Africa or Africa. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I suppose that's true of most places. To become a professional athlete and get paid is tricky, particularly in this economy.
They say it's harder to get there than stay there, right? Get to the top.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the competition scene in Oz and how you think that helps you. I suppose being head to head with top athletes.
Yes, for
We've
sure.
got a lot of local comps here, but we don't seem to have that sort of level of competition anymore. It seems to have fallen off a bit. I can remember in the early LMS days where the men's final heat would be Jason Smith, Dave Levy, Donnie, Ricky Bobby. Like, it's a list of the who's who.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that anymore. How do you think that helps being in Oz? What's that sort of level of competition like?
Well, there's definitely a lot of local competitions around, but for that high-end competition, like, I guess there's Torian, obviously, as the semi-finals, and then there's Down Under, which runs, I think, near the end of the year, October, November, and that, I love that competition. It's probably one of my favourite competitions to do, Down Under in Wollongong in Australia. And that's against top-end athletes. And just doing that, like, you can just see where you're at all the time, where your weaknesses are, your strengths are. And it's, like, just being able to compete alongside, high-level athletes definitely improves your game, for sure. Yeah.
And the choice this year, you were confirmed for Torian at one stage, so we thought we lost you to the region, which was quite sad.
Yeah.
But I mean, you registered and qualified through online and have now registered to compete.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yep.
That thought process. That's tough. I think.
There was a lot of consideration that I had to, I guess, take into account when making the decision this time. Obviously, doing Torian is awesome. I've done Torian once before, and it's one of the most well-run competitions there is out there, which is really awesome to see. And be able to be a part of, for sure, and being able to compete with all those athletes would be amazing. Like, the exposure for me would have been awesome. Like, there's so many pros to doing it. Like, it's in Brisbane. Like, I can literally sleep in my own bed. So, and then go to competition, like, just that, like, taking stress off would be, awesome, like, to do. It's at sea level as well, so it's not 2,000 meters up. I'm struggling to breathe just talking right now. No. But yeah, so there's so many, like, pros to competing there and all that. But obviously my goal is to, like, I want to go to the CrossFit Games. So the chances of me going in Africa versus Torian, like, I do believe that I could go into Torian as well. Like, I do think I'm good enough, and I believe I'm good enough to do it here as well. So that was hard for me to choose. Obviously, like I said, I work full time as well. So I'm managing the gym, and the gym that I'm managing right now is in the process of moving facilities. And the owner of that gym's also just opened up another gym. So he's trying to be in two places at once. So I was trying to focus on this gym so he could run that gym, and, trying to do all that. And, like, I wanted to be there for the community during the move, like, and all that. So I'm missing out on all that now that I've chosen to come here. So there was a lot of reasons for me to stay, but, I love competing in Africa. I love competing against all the girls here. And yeah, I think it holds a special place in my heart competing here, and I do think my chances are just that little bit better to qualify. So yeah, I made the last minute decision. It was very last minute, pretty much like last week, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm excited to be here. I'm pumped. It's going to be fun. 4 days. I'm keen.
Yeah, I think it is going to be fun. I think it's great to have you here. It really ups the level, and I think that ladies' field's really looking pointy at the top,
yes.
Which I think is cool. For us as spectators, we get to watch you all throw down, and I think we've done quite a lot of work with the Mayhem team, and I think we've got 9 tests, but we've got, like, a really well-rounded event. Lots of fitness, but yeah, I think it's going to be really good, and we're really glad to have you on this side of the fence. But yeah, I think it is tricky. I think in years past as well, it must be quite difficult for you, where you would have to you were at a point you were having to compete at Renegade. You never had an option to compete at Torian, and I think it was, from our side, it often looked like, sure, if you're a Torian, you're almost a shoo-in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. Africa, like, I love coming home. Like, you know, it's nice. Yeah.
No, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really excited to have you on the floor. So you say 4 days. Does that change anything when we're looking at 9 workouts compared to something, normally we're throwing sort of 6 workouts at you? We've added another 3. How do you think that's going to change the complexity of the event?
I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be in my favor to have more. But we'll see. I don't know what the workouts are yet. So, yeah, don't know.
Okay. Last year competing at Renegade, you talk about altitude a little bit. How did that affect you? How do you think that affected the sort of the field? I think we've got most of the top ladies. There's not a lot that are at sea level.
Yeah.
So they're all sort of coming up.
Yeah.
How does that?
I mean, I think altitude affects everyone differently, for sure. But last year I did come a little bit earlier, acclimatized a little bit, and I was actually feeling really good going into REBEL Renegade last year. And I got sick like 2 days prior, and it was definitely the sickest I've ever been in my life. I have PTSD from that whole event, especially workout 1 being that workout that it was, feeling so ill. I actually don't even remember half the event. I was in a dark place. So hopefully I can just not get sick this time. That's all I'm aiming for. But yeah, I know what to expect with the altitude now. Done it a couple times, so hopefully that won't affect me too much. Hopefully we're not running as much as the Hyroxes are running in our workouts.
No. We definitely not doing Hyrox here. Definitely CrossFit. Yeah, I think there's a good mix of workouts. There's some heavy stuff. I mean, it's mayhem, so I suppose everyone has an idea of at least 2 of the workouts that'll probably show up over the weekend. But some really, really cool, fun other stuff that we get to do, and we want to put on a show, and we want the athletes to really enjoy the experience and feel tested.
Yeah.
I think everyone will be pretty beat up by day 3, but I think what's really cool with Mayhem and particularly with Rich is the object's not to beat you up. I mean, Rich, speaking to the team this week, they're going like, Rich always used to win because day 4 or day 3 he was like better than everyone else. So I think that's kind of where it leans to, but not to beat people up. So I think it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see everyone throw down. And I think it's really cool to have a more international field this year, which is great, both on the men's and women's side, which makes it a little bit more exciting, I suppose, for all of the South Africans who love and bleed CrossFit. It's cool to have those people on our back doorstep, and also for you guys to be able to throw down and really compete and make it happen.
Yeah, well, even just that exposure to competing against top level athletes is just, like I said earlier, awesome. Yeah,
I think it's a good opportunity, and it was one of the reasons we wanted to expand the region. Is I think we always kind of looked down upon as like Africa. It's like it's this lowly little region and we don't actually have athletes.
Yes.
And I think that's not what we are.
No.
And I think this gives all of our athletes an opportunity to square up and say, look at me, we are good enough, and we do have a strong field. Maybe not very deep yet, but I think once people start seeing that, and we saw it a few years ago when the Meridian region ran, and I mean, that's when Jason was at his best, because you were lining up against Jona Koski and the top guys, and we had athletes year on year qualifying for the games. So I think we do have a much stronger field than people think.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
So the goal's number 1.
That's it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Confident. I mean, last year you performed really well, considering you were sick.
On death's bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was proud with my efforts last year, considering. And, it wasn't meant to be, I guess. So take 5. No. Hopefully that's it. Yeah. Feeling good.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
We'll be watching. Tell us a little bit about a sort of day in the life. You say you're working, managing gyms and stuff. Like, what does a day look like for Christina?
Wake up in the morning about 5 a.m. normally every day and head to the gym. I always do a class workout at my gym. So I hit the 6 a.m. class every day with my 6 a.m. crew, which is awesome. And then after that, quick snack, and then into some lifting, maybe another workout, depending on what's on my programming for the day. Then I'll eat some more food, get into work, bit of work, coach the midday class, bit more admin work, and then more admin work, and more admin work. And then a couple more coaching classes in the afternoon, 3:30 class I coach, and a 4:30 class I coach as well. And then I hit normally another conditioning piece in the evening at 5:30 or 6. And then home, dinner, bed, repeat.
So that's a long day.
Yes, yeah. I'm normally at the gym for 13 hours a day.
That's proper.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is. It's, a lot of people say, you're sacrificing, this and that, and I just don't see it that way. Like, if it's what you want and it's what you're after, a sacrifice isn't a sacrifice, it is what you have to do to be where you want to be, so, yeah. Yeah,
agreed. You got to put in the work. You can't expect to get things you're not working for.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's long. Who's doing your programming? Do you do it yourself?
No. I don't think I have the capacity in my brain to do my own programming as well. But we follow Proven mostly at the gym. We use their compete program here and there. We've got a few athletes in the gym that compete as well. So we have that. And then I've got some catered lifting programming by one of the coaches at the gym who helps me out with that. He's pretty, I'd say, high-level weightlifting coach. So that's really awesome to have in my corner. Definitely helped my weightlifting a lot. And then the owner of the gym, Rob, he's doing my programming leading into semifinals. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
a lot of different pieces pulled together. And I think what's really cool is that you're training in class in affiliate. Yes. And I don't think I really feel like we don't see that enough from high-level athletes, is being part of a community.
Well, I mean, I think, and I stand by this always, like, you can have a day one athlete in your class and a CrossFit Games athlete in your class, and you should be able to have them hit the same stimulus of the workout, finish in about the same time. Like, it's just, scaling to cater needs, and that's, our coaches at CrossAct are awesome. They know how to do that. So being able to, throw down with all levels and finish in the same time and race against someone that, yes, maybe is doing a different movement or whatever, but still have that race, you can still do that. Yeah. That's what I love about CrossFit.
Yeah, that's CrossFit.
Awesome.
Yeah. And training in affiliate, I mean, I imagine it makes it a little less lonely and a little easier to garner support because you're part of that that community.
Yeah, for sure. And especially like at CrossAx, like Taylor's come with me all the way to Africa. There's people doing bits and bobs always. So it's like, oh, hey, who wants to do a workout with me? And they're like, oh yeah, I'll jump in with you. And then you've got someone here, someone there. There's always kind of someone to do something with, which is definitely a little bit less lonely, training. Yeah, so, and it's a big gym, so there's lots of space and things for that. So yeah, it definitely helps that community side of it.
I think that's really cool. I think that's such an important element to the community. And I think that's, I mean, we're running an affiliate cup this year.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to bring in is we want it to be in affiliate. So you have to have been training at the gym. You have to be part of the gym. And we're taking away the super teams. And I think the support and what we've received from the community is so reassuring because it's doing that. It's the community supporting the community.
Yes.
You get to, hey, that guy who I do 6 a.m. with, he's going to be on the competition floor, which I think is so cool. And that's what really grows the sport and allows it to expand a little bit.
Yeah. Well, there's so much power in community. Hey, like just like group training just in itself is like you train so much more and harder in a group. And then just like, I mean, just like mental health wise, just to have that community around, like, you know, there's people there that, you know, support you, like love and support you really. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's why CrossFit works. It's about accountability. You wake up in the morning, you don't feel like training, and you look at the app and shit, everyone's booked in. Oh, I better go. Everyone else is going.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what makes it so special.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the methodology; it's that community and how it's offered.
Yeah,
that makes it really, really special.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about PFAA. You're on that
board,
that board, which is pretty cool. We've always had Africans on that board. I think Africans have always put their hand up.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that? What it means, what their sort of goals and objectives are?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great that they've created this. It's hard now that I guess CrossFit's also come up with a council at the same time. So there's essentially two. But I mean, I guess the PFAA, what the goal is or the aim is, you know, just to make sure that there is something for athletes to go to. Like, I have this problem, who do I go to? Do I email CrossFit? Do I, who do I speak to? Where can I get advice from? Oh, I've qualified for the games this year. What do I do? The PFA is there for, I guess, anything that can be related towards, like the athletes, if they need support on anything. Like athlete support really. So in a nutshell,
I think that's important for athletes to have a sounding board, someone to talk to and to ask for advice.
And then, like, I guess the like Brent and them, they're all in contact with a couple of the guys at CrossFit as well. So if there's anything that they're like, oh, well, this is, athlete safety or anything like that anyone's come to them with, they can then go to CrossFit and, say, hey, this is happening, we need to fix this. And obviously they can only do what they can do. CrossFit could be like, nah, that's like, or they could help, like, and that's the idea. So, yeah.
And so you ended up on it. How did that happen?
I guess I was just eligible for it, and they got into contact with me to ask to be on it, and I'll be honest, I'm like, I've got a lot on, so I don't play a huge role on the board in terms of exactly what I do day to day for them. There's other athletes on there that I'd say do more than what I do, but like I said, I'm trying to manage a gym, be an athlete. So my time is limited, we have board meetings every other month or so, updates all the time from them, what they're doing.
Okay, cool. Your thoughts on the new season? and how it rolled. I suppose there's a huge amounts of changes all the time in the CrossFit season, which I know it's really frustrating for us to try and manage events, and I can imagine it's even more frustrating for you as athletes trying to plan a season.
Well, CrossFit's constantly varied, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the new format? What are your thoughts on what happened this year?
I think, I mean, it's not my favorite season, I guess. I mean, the semi-finals still happening. There's still that one spot in Africa. So I guess it's somewhat similar for me anyway. But I guess the like online semi-finals and how many spots they're taking from there, and the team online semi-finals as well. I don't know, like, I mean, you hear it all the time, like, athletes don't want to compete online. Like, if you're not, if they're doing the online semi-finals, they don't qualify for the games, and then they've done their whole season online. Like, that's not, like, there's not much community around that. You know, the events are just so awesome, and so, like, they bring so much more energy to your competition as well. Like, you see athletes perform well, or like the chances of them PBing, you know, is so much higher at a competition. Like, that adrenaline, that vibe, everything. And I think, like, I'm not too sure why CrossFit made the decision to do what they did this year. But I think if we want to see athletes doing the best, breaking records, pushing, you know, the human body to its limits, see how well we can make ourselves do. I don't know. Like, in person is the way to do it, for sure. So, I mean, I don't love that how much is going through online this season, and, you know, all the variables that come with online as well. But yeah, it is what it is, and I don't really get caught up on it. Take it as it comes. Do what you can do with what you've got, where you're at. Yeah.
And I mean, for you, it gave you that opportunity of Torian, possibly.
Yeah.
Was that exciting? Was that, like, kind of, okay, cool, this is an easier...
I mean, actually, I was like, fuck, now I have to choose. I don't like making decisions, so I was like, can't you just make me do one? Then I don't have to worry about it, think about it, make the choice. But it is an awesome opportunity. Like, being able to compete at Torian is I mean, awesome. So I guess that having that opportunity there for sure is great. But I mean, they've given Torian 3 spots this year, whereas I think they had 2 spots, and they had 4 last year.
Yeah.
But have opened it up for the whole world to be able to compete there. So that in itself is like, what? So it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has made the season much harder for everyone because the spots that everywhere has been reduced.
Yeah.
I mean, we're African, we're the same. We get our one spot. Hopefully we start to change perceptions this year, and we can get a little more. But it makes it harder. I always say that REBEL Renegade Games is probably one of the hardest regions to compete in because everything matters.
Yes. Well, that's
one bad workout.
Yes.
You
can have one bad workout at Torian, or, you know what I mean, and still manage to be up there.
Yeah.
But here, if you have one bad one, I mean, I would know. You're done. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to be, which I think it's cool because it brings that energy and it brings the intensity to every single workout because everyone's going hammer and nail trying to get through and make sure that they're finishing as high as they can. So from a spectator point of view, it's really cool. But I think from an athlete point of view, it's
stressful.
Very stressful.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, hey. So.
And your plans now? I mean, it's 3 weeks to competition.
Yep.
In Africa, acclimatizing.
Yeah, I might go see some elephants, ride a lion or something. That's what we do over here.
Sounds good. I mean, that's what we do over here.
Just train, hang out, acclimatize a little bit, enjoy the African sun. It's different to the Australian sun, definitely, yeah.
And is it nice to kind of like be away leading into comp and take a bit of pressure off?
Yeah. Well, I don't have to do much work over here, I guess, now. You know, just taking time away from the gym. Obviously, I'm still in contact with them a bit, but just to take that stress off and just focus on just competing for a few weeks is probably the main reason I've come early. Yeah, and then obviously the altitude and everything. Yeah.
You got 9 events coming at you. Yeah. What are you hoping for? What are you like?
CrossFit.
Christina's ideal sort of movements and like. What would be good for you?
I mean, I'd say I'm a gymnastic dominant athlete, so gymnastics for sure. Anything gymnastics in it. Ring muscle ups, love a ring muscle up. Love a snatch. Been doing a bit of running. Don't mind seeing a bit of running. Not as much as high rocks. Sorry, high rocks keeps it. Yeah, I'm happy for just, you know, CrossFit-y style workouts. I love CrossFit. So, yeah, there's not really anything that I'm like, I hope is not there, which is good.
Okay.
To be going into a competition feeling like that, I guess.
I think we all kind of are aware that Heavy Isabel's probably going to rear its head.
I did. Obviously, I did the online semi-finals, but I did Heavy Isabel like 2 weeks prior in class at the gym. And then have done it at online semis, so 3 Heavy Isabels in a row. I'm hopefully going to be a pretty good snatcher after this season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has been. It's come up a lot now.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool, like having repeat workouts, and Mayhem's programmed so many of the qualifier events that it's nice to have a sort of broad idea of like, this is where everyone kind of stacks up in that workout. They did it 2022 at the semi-finals where they had 2 workouts that everyone did.
Yeah,
and I think it's pretty cool to be able to go, okay, cool, that is a world record. That is the fastest we've seen. So that's quite exciting. Difficulties at Renegade, what do you, like, I don't want to say difficulties, like, what are the challenges competing at an event like?
I don't know that there's any one thing that stands out or anything. I mean, it's an online competition. I mean, not online, sorry. It's an in-person competition. Like, it's obviously like, hopefully there's no like power outages or anything like that.
Yes, this is Africa, and
could happen.
They've started kind of load shedding again, maybe. Like, they just decide. So. Yeah, it's always that's always an interesting conversation.
Yes, yeah.
Like when you're chatting to Boz and them, we're like, yeah, so we've got this. This is the contingency plan if the lights go out. And like, sorry, what? You're like, yeah, if the lights go out, it's dark, and then we can't compete. So like, the athlete will be given that rep, and then we pause everything, and then we wait for the lights to come back on, and then we go again.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well,
what do you
they
do?
just turn the power off. Like, it's kind of out of our control.
Yeah, they don't get it, hey.
No, it's first world things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I guess things like that happening, like there's a bit more like unknown things that could happen like that over here. But I think I don't really let things like that affect me too much, so I'm not too stressed. Just take it as it comes. That's all you can do.
Not knowing the workouts yet. I mean, traditionally, we always try and be the last weekend. It just makes sense for our calendar. But old school, you knew those workouts because semi-finals were semi-finals, and if you were on the last weekend, then you had some extra time.
Yeah.
Does that change anything?
I mean, it would obviously change how I train for the next few weeks, for sure. But I guess it is what it is. Everyone else is on the same page, so I would like to know them. The sooner the better, of course. I think everyone would, so, but we're all on the same page. So.
Coming soon, ...
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Favorite thing about Renegade? Favorite thing about that event from last year?
I think just being able, like, competing here, like in Africa, I just, I love the African community. Everyone here is like so lovely. You know, I think just being able to compete in Africa is probably my favorite thing. Coming back forces me to come back. Yeah.
Venue, what do you like about the venue?
I mean, it's awesome. We've got like this little game park there as well, isn't there? The same place. So that's like cool. I've obviously brought my Australian friend with me, so hopefully she can go and see some animals a little bit. But it's a great venue. It's, you know, it does the job. It's got space for a bit of trail running. I guess kind of what we did last year.
Yeah.
Somewhat. I think the venue's great, does the job. Yeah.
Cool.
Bit colder down there.
A little bit chillier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the mornings are quite cold.
Yeah.
Schedule's going to be released today, and we've changed it up a bit this year. We're starting a little bit later in the day,
yeah.
and we'll end a bit later in the evening, which I think adds a bit of a different element.
Yeah.
We've got some community workouts and stuff happening before, so we really want to leverage that and allow the community to take part and throw down on that competition floor as well.
Yeah.
So all of the athletes will start a little later in the day, which will hopefully make it a bit warmer. There were some icy mornings last year.
Yes.
But I think, I mean, it's winter in Africa, so after 9 o'clock, it's
warm.
It's like summer
Yeah.
anywhere else in the world.
Literally.
So,
yeah.
Cool.
Are you releasing the workouts early?
We will. We have a plan. We're still negotiable on that plan. But yeah, we will release a workout. I don't want to say the first workout. We will release a workout on
Happy Isabel.
On Friday. No. Shame. I mean, everyone should know about that.
Yeah.
I think if you've been watching and you've been paying attention, then you will know.
Yeah.
We had a funny thing the other day. Lucas did a post, and he was doing Heavy Isabel, and he was like practicing for Heavy Isabel at REBEL Renegade Games.
Yeah.
And Toby commented underneath, he was like, "Does he know the workouts?" And I was like, "Workout clue number 1, programmed by Mayhem."
Yeah.
There've been 4 events already.
Yeah.
4 events already, and another one this weekend, French Throwdown, also programmed by them.
Yeah.
So I think it's a similar format. We've got a little bit more, which I think is exciting, and a little bit more games-ish, I want to say, where we can test like almost singular things, and be like, cool. We're testing CrossFit, but we want to test like an endurance element, or that sort of thing, which makes it quite exciting. So we'll start releasing workouts end of this week, and probably do 2 workouts a week or 3 workouts a week until we get there. So you'll know some stuff, you won't know other stuff, which I think makes it quite exciting.
Yeah, but I love that too. I love the unknown. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so hard because the unknown is really good, and it is really exciting to, like, I really wish we could just show up on the floor and say, today you're doing this. But logistically, it makes it really hard because we've got some judges courses coming up and that sort of thing. So judges can leak things, and people talk, and so to be as fair as possible, you kind of want to have everything out so everything's got good eyes on it. It also allows us, this is the first year, and I'm having like heart palpitations about it, that like semifinals are normally the same program, everything runs the same, so we get to learn a huge amount from everyone else. And this year it's not like that, so we're going in blind, kind of.
Learn on the fly.
Yeah, so we do need to release the workout so that athletes can familiarize themselves with movement standards and that sort of stuff in particular. Particularly after like doing the online qualifiers, movement standards are like, it seems like a really grey this side of the world. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Hiller's having a field day, I think, at the moment, because there's so much online happening, so he gets to see so much, and some stuff you might get away with in person. Or what we find is, if you're doing wall balls and you do 1 or 2 bad reps, your judge says to you, no rep, you go lower, fixes the problem.
Yes.
But if it's online and you don't have a really good judge, and you start and you're not hitting depth, and you end and you're not hitting depth, and then you've done 50 wall balls that are no reps.
Yeah.
So it becomes really tricky, and it's silly little things like that affect the community. So I think there'll be some very big shake-ups in the leaderboard quite early on, which is cool, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see. Thank you so much for coming and spending the day with us. We are very excited to see you throw down. We're hoping for great things.
Yeah, thank you for running the event and everything. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you.